Hello.
Good evening.
This is PJ Starks.
And this is Eric Huskisson.
That's right. And tonight we're doing another live podcast.
Let's start
Oh,
over.
no, we don't have to
not.
start over. Hey, I mean, check us out. This is a podcast.
Yeah.
If you're watching, if you're listening, it's just a podcast.
Okay, Adam Sandler.
So the elephant in the room, I'll just go ahead and throw this out there. I got a haircut, and they cut my hair way too short on the sides and the back.
You know, you kind of remind me of maybe a fat Adam Sandler. I don't know where I'm getting that. Was that when
That's
we were
mean,
in
guys. That's
that was the girl told him that.
That was David in the booth. So we recently went to Night Risers in Elizabethtown, and these two girls came up to the booth, and this girl looked at me and said, "I know you." And I was thinking, "No, you don't." She goes, Are you somebody? Do I know you?" And I was like, "No, I don't think we know each other." This girl was probably like 16.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I had no idea who she was.
Come to find out, they were from Owensboro.
Right. But then finally, her and her friend were both like, "You look like Adam Sandler." Oh, jeez. But no.
And then he goes.
A fat Adam
then he goes,
Sandler.
"Fat Adam Sandler."
Oh, my God. He's going to overdo it on the sound effects.
No, not at all.
No, you can never overdo it on that sound effect.
Exactly.
But, yeah, so I've never been told I look like Adam Sandler. For some reason, this time, they thought I looked like... And then they brought their mom over, and she tried to sleep with me.
Okay.
Sounds great.
We won't
Good
name
story.
it. We won't name.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. She did not do that, but she was like, "Oh my God."
Was that allowed? I'm sorry.
Yeah. So she was like, "You do look like Adam Sandler," and no. I've heard Nick Frost. I've heard Sal Vulcano from
Now-
Impractical Jokers.
Nick Frost, I have to say, with that haircut,
Yeah,
I
definitely.
see it a lot more.
I
I don't know what it is about that
Trina
haircut
says-
in you, but
Trina says I look like I tried to get a high and tight, and it's
I don't.
All right.
I told you, I
which
don't
makes me look
dislike
like
it.
a fat Dutch.
I don't
From- This is
dislike
what
it.
Dutch from Predator would look like if he didn't work out.
But
and
I
he
mean,
wasn't in the
I do
military.
see the Nick Frost a lot more with that hairstyle. But I don't.
Okay,
dislike
I'll give
the
you that,
hairstyle.
but I don't get Adam Sandler. Anyway,
I don't get that either. But anyway,
Yeah, so we have a quick update for
Yeah.
everybody for Volumes of Blood 3. Eric?
Well, you updating me? No. We are moving forward still. A lot of people are probably impatient, wondering what's going on with Volumes of Blood 3. We are still trying to get funding for it.
I know I'm getting impatient.
Yeah, we all are. We do have a lady that has come on board and is doing some marketing for us and hopefully going to pull us closer to the near future of getting it started. We are still about halfway where we want to be. We did do some cuts to get some things down to push this along, to make some people happy, to make us happy, and just to get the movie out there for everybody. Don't forget, you can still purchase the shirts. I hate to lead back there, but
Yep.
these shirts are $20, and all the proceeds do go to the movie. So, you can contact us on Facebook or at bloodmoonpics@gmail.com and let us know you want one. We can ship it to you, or we can bring it to you here in Owensboro. We'll take credit and cash.
Yep.
Sounds good. Sorry to interrupt you guys, but I want to make sure that one of you guys has pulled up the stream so you guys can get
Yep,
questions.
I'm looking at it right now.
Okay, so everything was good?
Yeah, so before we bring in our special guest, I want to give a couple special thanks. First, Sean Burkett. He's working on a Bigfoot horror film
Yes.
called Stranded, and they made their goal. And
They've made
it's
more than
way
their goal.
beyond their goal.
I think it was 174 last time I saw. Is it
Yeah.
more than that now? That's awesome.
So this is like,
Congratulations.
this is the second project to make me look like a moron after I said
Yeah.
crowdfunding is
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah.
So
So
congratulations
So
to
when are you going to
Sean.
start your Bigfoot movie?
And then congratulations to Tori for completing principal photography on Wicked Ones, which they recently
Oh,
finished.
they did? Oh, okay.
I believe
didn't
so,
know that.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
I'm,
cool.
I'm almost positive that they did. So maybe it's an early congratulations, but I'm pretty sure that they completed principal photography. So
And I also want to give a thanks out to our buddy David for bringing us back to the Outbreak Studio. And I did say that right this time and got it right. It is the Outbreak Studio.
Thank you, sir.
David's a man in the booth.
he is.
So
He's the boothiest of
it's
men.
his homestead that we are in this fantastic booth him and Tony built and is letting us use. And that's awesome. Thank you, David. We don't want to say anything bad about you on air. We do it when it's off. So we just give you some props here now.
Thanks,
So
Eric. You're the best.
thanks for letting us come back again.
You guys
All
ready?
right, so we were talking earlier about Volumes of Blood 3.
Mhm.
And speaking about Volumes of Blood 3, we have a very special guest tonight, someone who is attached to the project.
Mhm.
And we have him on the phone now, Troy Escamilla.
Yes, Troy, are you there?
I am here. How's it
Hey,
going?
it's going. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Cool.
Hanging in there.
Coming from Texas, correct?
Yes,
All
Houston,
right.
Texas.
Awesome.
So we tried to do
Yeah.
this once before. It didn't pan out.
Yeah.
It took it took knowing someone with real equipment and real know-how to
Yeah.
pull this off.
And a better looking studio.
Oh, a much better. Well, just a studio period.
Not a card table in the middle of a bedroom.
Yes. So, hey, it was what it was.
Hey, it worked.
Now we've gone bigger and we've gone better.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
Yeah,
thanks for
and-
coming on and taking time to be with us tonight, Troy.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
okay, so the one thing that and we'll start off this way.
hmm
You've done interviews before, so what we won't
Uh-huh.
do is we won't have you tell your entire backstory, because that's as
Okay.
someone who has done quite a few interviews. It seems like every time I do an interview, it always starts with, "So, how did you get interested in making movies?" And that's
Yeah,
so that's
yeah.
not what we're going to do. What we will do is we will just for those who may not be familiar with you or your work, we'll give you, you
Mhm.
know, a 60-second window to kind of give
We're
your
not gonna
elevator
time you.
pitch. Yeah, we're not going to time you. I just said that. I'm just throwing a number out there, but you know,
Okay.
just kind of give everybody a quick rundown of who you are and what you are
Oh,
and why you
okay.
are.
And why? Well, gosh, see, this is the worst part of it too, because no, but I'm Troy Escamilla. I have made 3 feature films. Writer director of A Party Night was my first feature film back in 2017, and then Stirring / Mrs. Claus, which was filmed in 2018. And then my upcoming 3rd feature film, Teacher Shortage, which is so close to being done in post-production. So I'm super excited about that. So hopefully there'll be a lot of news regarding that film here shortly. But the first 2 films, they were released through Wild Eye Releasing and are on Amazon Prime. You can check them out. I'm a huge horror fan, been a horror fan all my life. So that's kind of my story. My real job, I am a librarian at a high school, which people find interesting. So,
That is
Yeah.
interesting.
yeah. Well, I was an English teacher for about 10 years before making the transition into the library. So, yeah.
So it's kind of interesting that the first Volumes of Blood took place in
Takes place
a
in a
library.
I
And now
know,
you're
I know.
Now the last
now
one.
the last one you're attached to, and you're a
Uh-huh.
librarian. So
Yes.
we'll have to bring you back for the 4th one that takes place in a library in space.
Oh, I would love it. Hey,
Yeah.
So
yeah,
but-
well,
The face in space.
that's the thing is being in education for so long. I've been in education for going on 16 years now. So that was the basis for Teacher Shortage, was just my experience in education. I used a lot of stuff for that experience and infused it into that script. So I'm super excited about this film.
So
now I want to say that you and I had it. Sorry, Eric. I didn't mean to. Yes, I did. I did mean to say.
I won't get to talk most of the night anyway. I was just trying to jump in and get one word in, but go ahead.
So I want to say. So we've had a conversation before, and I want to say that I had asked you whether or not you were able to film in the school that you work at, but I want to say
Uh-huh.
that you had some issues and you ended up like having to find a different location. Is that true, or am I going crazy?
No, you're absolutely right. Being the type of film it is, I wasn't really comfortable with approaching my particular school district about filming in their school. So we ended up using a community college here in the Houston area that actually, you wouldn't know that it wasn't a high school. It looked very much like a high school. So, but yeah, no, I didn't really want to go that route with that because there are I don't know, there are people that might have issues with the fact that the content of the films that I make and being in education, you don't know. So I try not to broadcast that a lot around my place of employment. People know, but I didn't really want to bring, get that, involved with my real job with film. So
right. What's the age range? Or
it's a high school. It's a high school.
Okay.
So the school that I'm at, ninth through 12th grade. It's a large urban high school here in Houston area, very diverse. About 3,500 students, so it's very large. And again, like my principal knows what I do. She knows that I've made horror films, and she thinks it's cool. A lot of the teachers do. A lot of the students do. I have students who know that I've made films and are interested in like screenwriting. That always come to me and want me to read their little scripts and stuff. So, but I just didn't want to get to that. I just didn't want to merge it that close to try to film in my school. I felt like it should be, I wanted to keep those kind of things separate. Again, just because the content of the film. I mean, it's pretty great. I mean, it's pretty graphic. There are some death scenes that take place in the school, so I was like, probably shouldn't do this. But yeah.
Well, that was basically going to be my question. I wondered what the school thought about your, your job kind of on the side, or your, and what if the kids knew and what they thought about it. I figured the kids would think it was cool, but that was basically going to be about the question I was going to ask, how that was perceived.
Oh yeah, the kids think it's cool. They get a big kick out of it.
Are they typical? Oh, can I be in it? Can I be a dead person? Or we get that a lot.
Yeah.
We get that a
or
lot.
And that kind of they're kids, but it just in general, like it's not just kids, but like just people that I meet, like part of teacher shortage. A big part of teacher shortage takes place in a bar, and there's a bar down from like 2 blocks from my apartment that I go to. Probably way too much, but I know the owners, and they allowed me to film in there. But people, that go to that bar are like, oh, it's so cool. Can I play a dead person? It's like they don't realize that there's actually a script, and everything's already planned out. And I just can't throw a dead person,
right,
in the film just because you want to play a dead person. So that's kind of funny, but
Yeah.
We run into the same thing when we make our films. The difference, though, is that I love body counts, and I'm a gore fan. So 9 times out of 10, I'm like, sure, we'll make it happen. So that's why the body count in the second Volumes of Blood was pretty high, because we had sponsors. Every sponsor was like, can I die in the movie? And some of them, that was kind of like my pitch to them. It was like, hey, if you help us out, you come onto the project, help us get it made, you can die in the movie if you want to. And most of them, it's weird. That's like a bucket list thing for most people.
Yeah,
is
to
die.
I just haven't. Yeah, no, it is. It's really cool. I just haven't really done that yet. Where my projects I've already had, trying to throw some just a death scene in just to have someone
right,
they could die. But I'm not opposed to it. I see that. That's quite a popular perk nowadays. You see with some crowdfunding campaigns. You can die in a film for $500.
Yep.
Yeah.
Eric and I were actually
do it.
talking about that. Oh yeah, people love to die for some reason.
Oh God, yeah. I'd be all for it. It's so cool to watch. The makeup effects. Work their magic, and like on the set of Teacher Shortage, having one of the actors walk around half the night with a hatchet instead of in his face. I'm like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. So maybe one of these days I'll die and get a film.
Well, there's a couple of people attached to Teacher Shortage that we have also. Some of the actors you had for Devil's Night. It's
I know David.
David.
We like to poach other people's actors.
Yeah,
so.
we do. Yeah.
Well, and then you have Elaine Udy, who was in Mrs. Claus.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of cool to see some of these people that I've worked with being attached. And so David's a great actor. I mean, he just nails anything he does. And Tamara, it's so cool to see her. You know, I was just in awe having somebody that was in the Halloween franchise, my favorite horror franchise. You know, what I grew up loving. It was so just almost, I don't even, surreal having her on set, knowing that she was a big part of that franchise. But it's really cool now to see her starting to get all these roles in these big.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah, she is so
films.
busy right
She's
now.
in Terrifier too, and she's such a sweetheart. I mean, just such a sweetheart. So, yeah, I kind of lucked out with that cast. It was a great cast, and yeah. So, like I said, it's taken a while, but it's so close to being done. You know?
So with teacher shortage, would you guess that it'll be like first, second quarter of next year before it releases, or? If you were to guess?
Yeah, I would say, like I said, it's in the very, very final stages of post-production right now. So I think it'll hopefully be done by, the end of this month, December-ish. And then, of course, there's a couple of festivals that I always like to try to try to get my films into. But yeah, I would say early to mid 2020, definitely. People should start seeing it. And
Eric is excitedly yawning over here as you tell your story.
Eric
So I want to apologize when you watch the live. Just know that I've been enthralled, and Eric is asleep.
He's yawning. That's okay.
Eric had a rough day.
He's had a hard day at work.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's been
He's a male stripper, so
yes.
he really works that pole.
That's right.
And it makes him very tired at night.
Working around covered with oil, slippery all day will wear you out. Let me tell
And I think they made him he had the cod piece on most of today. So
I never
Oh
had
my
it off.
gosh.
So a majority of the films that the three films that you've done all fall under the slasher genre. Correct. So
Yeah.
so it's safe to say then that you're a big fan of that subgenre.
Well, he grew up being the Halloween fan, so that's where I'm getting
absolutely.
probably
True.
right.
It's by far my favorite subgenre. I mean, it is what I grew up watching. I mean, if I had to list my favorite horror films, I think the only one that probably really would be a slasher film would be Poltergeist. So, I mean, it's a genre that I like I said, I just grew up with it, so I know it very well. It's comforting to me, and so that's just what I kind of like to do. I like to make, it's the genre I like, so that's what I'm going to do.
Well, I'm a huge slasher fan myself, so
Oh yeah,
it's just
and I think and what I feel like it. I don't want to sound, some great genius or something, but I feel like my three films are certainly different enough from each other that because that's what people will ask me is like, oh, you're always going to do slasher. There's only so much you can do with that genre. Yeah, I think my three films are completely different from each other, even though they're all slasher films. I feel like they're very distinct. Party Night is definitely like the 80s throwback. Prom Night, Friday the 13th type slasher, and then you have Story Mrs. Claus, which is a Christmas themed slasher that has a bunch of twists and turns in it. And then Teacher Shortage is more. I think Teacher Shortage almost verges on being like a sort of a black comedy because of the script has a lot of stuff embedded into it that kind of makes a statement about our current educational system and how teachers are treated, etc. And it's also instead of students being killed off, which you traditionally see in Teacher Shortage, it's the teachers that are being killed off. So it's a little bit of a twist. Yeah.
So in some ways it is kind of a social commentary on the current status of what's happening within the education system to some degree.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh, a lot of the dialogue in Shortage is ripped right from like department meetings and staff meetings that I've had and have had to listen to stuff. So it's very. I think people that are in education are I think will get a huge kick out of it. And then just slasher fans in general are going to get a huge kick out of it because the death scenes in Teacher Shortage definitely are a huge step up from the first two films. They're much more elaborate, much more gory. which I wanted. Of course, you always want to up your game. So there's definitely, it's very bloody, very brutal. Yeah, so I'm super excited.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm a huge, like I said, I'm a big slasher fan. Usually my go-to movies tend to be slasher films, and it's funny because earlier you mentioned Prom Night, and I was going to say I got a very, very much like a Prom Night kind of vibe from Party Night, actually. So, what are your thoughts? I'm gonna keep this in the same wheelhouse, but shift gears just a little bit. But have you seen the trailer for the new Black Christmas?
I have. Black Christmas is by far. Black Christmas is the original Black Christmas is my favorite horror movie of all time. I have a Black Christmas tattoo. Stirring, obviously, heavily influenced by Black Christmas. It's by far my favorite horror movie. I feel like, to me, it looked. I feel like if it didn't look like it needed to be it didn't need to be called Black Christmas. It looks like it has nothing to do with the original film, and which was kind of disappointing because Blumhouse has really successfully, revamped, a couple of these horror franchises. I thought they did a pretty decent job with Halloween and going back to the roots of the original, with their sequel, the 2018 Halloween. So I was really, when they announced Black Christmas, I was giddy as hell. I was like, oh my God, they're doing it finally, because the remake, the 2006 remake, was shitty, but at least it's fun to watch. Like, it's a guilty pleasure. Like, it's fun. It's shits all over the original, but it's fun to watch. It's just, it doesn't apologize for what it is. So I was really excited. I'm like, okay, they're going to take it back to the, go back. Blumhouse is going to take it back. And then I saw the trailer and I'm like, what the hell is this? It looks like it's like they're using some cult, and instead of like Billy terrorizing a girl, it looks like it's a cult. They gave away the whole movie in the trailer.
They really, it feels that way. And
maybe they held some stuff back.
Here, see, I saw it, and the trailer kind of starts out very much like Black Christmas, the original Black Christmas. Then it starts to feel more like Sorority Row, which is the remake of House and Sorority Row.
Mm-hmm.
And then Eric is just, I screwed up on a word, and he's looking at me. He's just loving it right now.
Anytime I do it, I never hear the end of it. I don't ever say anything to him.
Screwed up words. And then when the whole cult thing kind of comes into play, they really do. Yeah. They show almost what feels like the entire film. There's absolutely nothing about Billy in the trailer. And this is my prediction for the film. And I think I've done this once before on the podcast, but I'm going to talk about it again. My prediction is that Billy does escape. He gets into the house. And when all the sorority girls are being killed by the cult, Billy comes out of hiding, and basically either one of two things happen. He slaughters all the cult guys, and then it's the sorority sisters that are left alive, then have to fight to survive an additional horror, which is a single slasher. They go from a killer cult to a single slasher. Or like Alien versus Predator, those that are left of the cult decide, well, there's strength in numbers, and the sorority girls have to team up with what's left of the cult to then try to survive the night from Billy. And I think that's my prediction. The only reason I think that, and I could be completely wrong, is because there's nothing about it in the trailer, and I think that would be a great marketing tool to make it seem like you've seen everything, and then you go see the movie, and there's so much more to it than what's actually there.
Well, I mean, that could be. I hope. My only thing is that the film was extremely rushed, so I don't know if that much thought would have been put into the script.
Well,
you know what I mean? Because it was super rushed. I mean, they basically announced it like in July, and then it was wrapped by the end of August, and now it's going to come out in December. So I don't know. I just, I think that they got a female director attached to it, and I think she was all gung ho about making it like a female empowerment slasher movie, which is fine. That's great.
Right.
I tend to think that most slasher movies are female empowered films, anyways. He doesn't need to be that blatant. So but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I'll definitely go see it. So.
I feel like you just shat all over my prediction, and you're you know what? It's funny. Like as you were talking, I was like, "That there's a lot of truth in that," because they did very quickly announce it, and then the poster came out, and the next thing you know, there's a trailer. So, just in case, right, Jason Blum, if you're watching this, because I know you are, you're an avid watcher of our live video broadcasts on Facebook. Do a quick reshoot and add some of that Billy stuff in there.
Add Billy, because you can't have Black Christmas.
Right. Well, and I know this has been done before, too, and it happened a lot in the 80s, and I know it's happened a few times throughout horror history, which is they start making a film, and then they're like, oh, crap, and then they kind of retool it to be something it's not. So I wonder how much I wonder how much that could have happened with this, where it's like they were making something entirely different, like a cult film, and then someone said, some of those settings look like Black Christmas. And someone said, you know what? We'll just call it Black Christmas and just say it's a remake because, hey, there's money in remakes because of it. They have a set fan base already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it.
I think that is what happened, Eric.
It comes out in a month. It's hard to believe. Yeah, it'll be out.
I know.
It comes out December 13th. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, like I said, I'll go see it. I just was very let down by the trailer because, like you said, it didn't look like Black Christmas to me. I think it looked like Christmas on Sorority Row.
I kind of felt that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay. Well, I was just going to say, it looks like I think they could have just called it something different. Why, if they're going to stray that far from the formula of what the original was, and if the original is highly considered, by not just me, but I think the horror community, the original Black Christmas is considered one of the, best horror films, or at least one of the strongest horror films of all time. So, if you're going to stray that far from the original, just call it something else and be done with it. I don't know.
Well, I'm still going to go see it in theater because I'm a sucker for slasher films, and pretty much any time a slasher film comes out, I'm going to check it out. And I had very little hope for the Child's Play remake. And say that again.
I liked it.
I did too. I went in with very low expectations after I saw the trailer because I was like, I don't know. An AI gone wrong. I was just, but it was a fun movie. It was a fun movie.
It was a blast, and I feel like that's an example of a remake done right, where you take the premise of the original film, which is a killer doll, but you tweak it enough just to make it different. But it's still the kind of the skeleton of the original film, or the soul of the original film is still in it. But it's not like a blatant copy or a blatant rip-off of the original, like the remake of, like, let's say, like Carrie, which is just basically a remake of there was nothing different about it.
I didn't even see that one.
Yeah, so I really liked the Child's Play remake. I thought it was a lot of fun. So I don't know why people, complained about it, but I thought it was a blast from start to finish. So,
what would you say are some underrated slasher films that people don't watch and or talk about enough?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say a couple of them that pop to mind are, I would say, Stage Fright, Aquarius.
Oh, I love that one. It's a good
one. From the 88, Italian Michael Savero. I don't know how you say his last name. But that's one of my favorite slasher films. Intruder, the grocery store slasher film.
It's got some great kills in it.
Yeah, and just the atmosphere of it is really, really strong. The Mutilator. I love that film. I know it's not a good film by any means, but there's just something about it that is very endearing.
PJ has mixed feelings on that one, apparently.
Yeah, this is my thoughts on the Mutilator. they have, once again, like I said a second ago, it's got some phenomenal kills in it. But the acting is so god awful. I had a hard time. Like, I sat through it just because I was like, so many people have talked about this as like an underground slasher that you have to see. So I was like, gotcha. And I think it, I can't remember where. I think it was Shudder. It was on Shudder way back when, and that's how I saw it. And
was it the uncut version of one?
That I don't know. It was very, very bloody and gory, so I would assume yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's how I saw it. But the acting is so bad, I had a really tough time sitting through it.
Yeah, no, it is. It's bad. It is. I mean, but it's just, again, it just screams 80s. You know what I mean? It's just,
it very much screams the 80s.
So I just, it's one of the films that I really, I wouldn't say I enjoy it, but it's just fun. You know?
Right.
Trying to think of something else that might be.
Mine would probably be The Prowler.
Oh yeah, The Prowler. I like The Prowler. Again, phenomenal kills and everything. I think it It gets to a point in the film, like the midway point, where it drags a little bit. But the kills in Prowler are probably some of the best of the '80s, for sure.
Well, it was Tom Savini that was doing a lot of the special. Doing the special effects for The Prowler, and that helps out a lot. But that's definitely one. I think it's got a good story, and the acting in it's fairly solid for the most part. And but the special effects in it are phenomenal, especially that very last kill. And if you haven't seen it, I won't give it away. But there's a really good
the bayonet.
Yeah. Oh, the bayonet kill is really good too.
Yeah.
But Eric is over here dying of boredom because we're talking about slasher movies.
No, I'm listening. I'm waiting to a point. I got a question. I'm going to chime in when you all get to a point.
Well, let's do that. Let's have you ask your question.
Okay.
So going back to your, you were talking about being a fan of the Halloween franchise, which is basically what got me really into horror, hook, line, and sinker. Talking about when you were talking about Child's Play and Black Christmas being remakes, what did you think of Rob Zombie's remakes? What did you think of those?
There's the sound effect. I saw the Rob Zombie Halloween theater, and at that time I remember leaving the theater, and I was like, okay, I mean that was different, and I don't know. I feel like his Halloween 2 is god awful.
Yes.
It started out strong with the scene in the hospital, but then once that kind of, ended and you realize it was a dream, that movie was just a mess. I feel like his remake of this first Halloween, I think there was a lot of, and I had just posted about this because I just watched it. I think there's a lot of strong elements to it, especially the second half of the film. What I didn't like about it is that we didn't need a 45-minute backstory of Michael Myers and his whole family now being a white trash redneck. I just didn't think that was necessary. And every other word out of their mouth was F this, F that. It took the whole, the whole aura of Michael Myers and just kind of shit on it, really, because what made Michael Myers scary is that he was just a normal kid that snapped one day. It was a normal kid in a normal family, and just one day decided to kill his sister.
Right.
In this one, you kind of rooted for. I wanted him to kill all those fucking godforsaken people in that film. So I think it lost. That's where it failed, because I wanted that stupid stepdad to die. I wanted the sister to die. I wanted her white trash boy. I wanted them all to die. So that's not how you do a movie. I don't think. Is when you're rooting for the killer.
I have a thing about remakes, and I'm getting better about it. We've talked about this a lot. I've watched the first one, and I wasn't a fan. And I was not a fan enough to where I didn't care to ever even watch the second one. So I have no clue.
The second one's absolutely terrible.
But
It's funny that you said that it doesn't get bad until after the until after like the scenes in the
hospital
hospital. Yeah, because it lost me after the very. It starts off, I thought, pretty strong with this kill on a roadway with this ambulance, and then almost immediately after those kills, he turns and there's his mom and the white horse. And
the white.
It lost me at that moment. I was like, "What is this garbage?"
That's just an excuse for him to put his wife in the film,
right?
Because she died in the first one. He has to have his wife in every one of the film.
See,
so I felt like he was like, "Oh yeah, you're going to be a ghost with a horse, just so we can have you." In the film.
I don't. Go ahead.
But yeah, that was just a bad movie. I mean, the sequel. What made the sequel just so bad is that the characters, all of the characters, became so unlikable. Like the Laurie character in Halloween, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. It's just you just want to punch her in the face. And then Dr. Loomis in Halloween 2 is just horrible. Like all the characters turned into just awful people.
Yeah.
So,
but
that's Rob Zombie. I don't know what his fascination with is having all of his characters be awful people. I don't get that. I don't know.
Well, ironically though, like it in some of his films it works really well. In my opinion, Devil's Rejects is his best film.
Oh yeah.
I did not like House of a Thousand Corpses. I was not a fan of House of a Thousand Corpses.
I need to rewatch it. I watched it when it came out in theaters, and I just remember leaving the theater and I'm like, okay, whatever, and just never thought about it again.
It's not my truck, is it?
We have a car alarm going off. I don't know. No, it just went off.
It's one of the neighbors. Sorry.
Someone just broke into Eric's car and then realized there wasn't anything of value in there, so they turned it off and shut the door.
8-track.
Yeah.
There goes on my Maxim.
But yeah, so I didn't like House of a Thousand Corpses. I loved Devil's Rejects. I haven't seen Lords of Salem, but as far as like Halloween goes, ironically, in my opinion, when someone does a remake, to me, a good remake is when they take the source material and then they do something not maybe entirely different, but something that's their own, very much like what Zack Snyder did with Dawn of the Dead, like that, or even the Hills Have Eyes remake. Those two are some of the best two remakes. House of Wax, I thought, was a really good remake.
I
agree with you.
House of Wax gets
I'll agree
shit
with
on
you
a
there.
lot, but
I don't understand why House of Wax gets such people like. I don't understand why it got such bad.
You're talking about the one here in the last few years, right?
Yeah, with Jack Bauer's daughter. I can't think of the actress's name.
Alicia Cuthbert.
Yeah, Alicia Cuthbert. Yeah.
Alicia Cuthbert.
Yeah, the acting in it was good. The special effects in it were really good.
Even with Paris Hilton.
The score is phenomenal. I'll say this. I went in thinking Paris Hilton was going to suck.
She wasn't bad in that, I got to admit.
She wasn't bad, and she had an insanely awesome death scene. She had the best death scene in the whole movie.
I really liked the movie, and I was shocked.
Right,
really
and it takes a lot to make me cringe. But when Alicia Cuthbert got the tip of her finger cut off with those plier things, oh my god!
Yeah.
But going back to Halloween, I actually liked the backstory that Rob Zombie did with young Michael Myers.
Some people do,
But I will say this: it got so hacked up by the censors, and then, but my biggest issue with the film is once he breaks out of Smith's Grove, because even all the stuff whenever Michael's in Smith's Grove is all pretty original stuff, because you don't ever really see any of that. So I liked it too. As soon as he breaks out of Smith's Grove, it's almost a shot-for-shot remake in a lot of ways. But the problem with the movie is not necessarily the fact that it's a shot-for-shot remake that I found extremely that's what I found to be uninteresting about it. But the continuity and things between shots and the editing, a lot of that could have been because of the censors or whatever. But there's a lot of stuff in that movie that just was done horribly. Now I will say that I saw it in theaters, hated it, and I didn't see it again for 10 years. And then I watched it on video because I saw it somewhere, and I was like, "Oh, $3 for the 2-disc unrated version." It's I'll give it a shot. So, gave the movie a shot again, and I actually enjoyed it more now than what I did the first time around. But there's still a lot left to be desired for that for that.
If I, and here, this might be unpopular to say, but if I'm being 100% honest, I would say if someone like sat me down and forced me to watch Rob Zombie's Halloween, his first one, or Halloween 2018, I'd probably pick Rob Zombie.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're not a fan of David Gordon Green's Halloween?
It's not that. It's. I just found the whole like Laurie Strode thing, that what they did with her character, I didn't like it. It didn't fit. Like, I don't know. I just
What
didn't like
the heroine part of it, or the seclusive?
You don't like old ladies. That's what I'm getting from this.
No,
Women in
Fuck
power
old
make you sick.
no, no. It's just
What's all this
fact that
toxic
they-
masculinity you're throwing
Yeah,
at us
I know.
right now?
Oh my God, please stop. But I'm not the most. Yeah, no, I'm not a politically correct person, so I don't really see that stuff that drives me nuts. But she what was I gonna? No, I just didn't like. Yeah, the fact that she's like turned into like Linda Hamilton. Like, come on.
Oh.
And the fact, that she's lying. Why would she like wait around? It just didn't make any sense because since they erased every sequel after the first one, to me it just didn't make any sense. That okay, so she was. I understand being attacked by a homicidal maniac, traumatic, yes, but what would make her think 40 some years later that this guy was still going to break out and come after her? It just didn't make any sense. Like, I don't know. I feel like
it did happen.
it did happen. Well, it's just, yeah.
40 years later, her greatest fears.
40 years later.
Michael fought through that arthritis
I had a few
and
issues.
came after her.
I'm a big Halloween fan as well. I had a few
And
issues.
he has arthritis.
I had a few issues with the film myself, but I actually liked it. And comparatively, I'm gonna take the 2018 over Rob Zombie. That's my
I liked it. No,
that's my personal.
I'm not
opinion.
saying I didn't like it. I did. It was fine. I'm very interested in seeing what I do with the sequel, though.
Yeah, I agree.
same
I
here.
agree.
Two sequels.
I really hope they knock it out of the park because
I don't like the
2018,
titles, though. I'm not a
No,
fan.
it's
Yeah,
kind of-
Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. Which, first of all, they'll never kill Michael Myers. We know that. Even if they kill Michael Myers, they'll just say, this is happening in a whole new universe. So-
Halloween in space.
Right.
yeah.
But yeah, so I'm not a fan of the titles, but I did like the new Halloween. Here's what bugs me more than anything, is that they say it's a direct sequel to the first film, but they called it Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
That's what bugs me. They should have called it Halloween something else.
Well, the first movie
Halloween
was
Returns.
technically called John Carpenter's Halloween because his name was first. So that's the difference. Just
Yeah, PJ. Oh, what? You don't want to hear the truth?
Thank you, sound effects guy. But no, yeah, I mean you're right, but
I didn't like the twist with the doctor either.
now see, I did like that.
did.
I did.
I didn't either.
I liked Dr. Sartain, and I wanted more of his character. And I know that's an unpopular opinion because a lot of people I have talked to about it share the same exact feelings about his
I didn't
character.
care for that either, Troy. I gotta admit.
I didn't mind that. I mean, you got to think though, the mask thing that everybody complains about, it only lasted for like 40 seconds, and then he took it. Here's what. This is spoiler alert, but let's face it, if you haven't watched Halloween since last year,
And that's PJ. So.
then you need to go watch it. But anyway, here's what bugs me more than anything, is that Michael is this unrelenting killing machine. He's a shark, as John Carpenter, as Mr. Carpenter has always said, is that he's a shark, right? He kills everybody and everything. And so he gets stuck in the back of that police car, the truck, with, I can't think of the daughter's name.
Allison.
Yeah, Allison, her granddaughter, right? And he comes to, she turns, they look at each other. He's right there. She's right there. And instead of killing her, he focuses on the doctor and then gets out and gives her an opportunity to run away. Now, I understand why they probably did that, and that's from a writing standpoint. They wrote themselves into a corner, so they said, well, instead of her getting killed, we'll just, Michael slipped up for once. He's human, really, right? So that's probably how they justified it. But really, as far as his character's concerned, nobody gets away. He's on a bus with like 4 armed guards, and they all get murdered.
Yeah.
And yet somehow this completely unarmed teenage girl
gets
away. So that's really what bugged me more than anything about that film.
It was a ploy to get, it was a plot device to get him to get the Lord.
Right. And and it's funny because I had this conversation like 2 days ago. This is because everybody I've talked to about the new ones coming out, they're like, how did he get out of the burning basement?
That's what I want to know.
I think this is my prediction. Billy was in the house, and Billy comes out. No, I'm joking.
I want to know how he got out.
And he teams up with sorority girls, and they end up letting him out. No,
I want to know how he got out of the yard with the 12-foot concrete walls and the one fence that they had to climb over.
Well, he just punches through the wall.
Hey,
look, he can stomp on a head.
And how did he get in there in the first place to know they were coming through there?
It takes over 800 pounds of pressure.
That was one thing that bothered me about the film.
It takes over 800 pounds of pressure to crack a skull, and he can just step on a man's head and it explodes open. He can push the wall over. Let's face it.
Okay.
But this is how I think. This is how I think he gets out of the burning basement. And once again, I don't know any inside. I mean, even though I hang out with David Gordon Green on the weekends.
I'm glad we called to talk to Troy to hear all your opinions, but go ahead.
This is what I think. I think that if Lori, basically she had all this planned out, right, in advance. But what if something went wrong? She got trapped in the basement. She would need a way out. So I think she built a secret passageway out of the basement as a backup just in case.
Keyword there, secret.
And I think Michael stumbles upon it, and that's how he gets out of the house.
Everybody just stumbles across secret passages.
A secret passage.
Right.
That's what's going to happen in Halloween Kills.
It's going to have a little plaque on it, and it's going to say created by Eric's mom.
He's going to crawl out on fire smoking through this secret package. Passage.
So,
I just remember then at the very end, though, it wasn't like the very end shot of him. He was standing at the bottom of the stairs, like burning.
Well, he was looking up, surrounded by the
fire.
Yeah,
right.
The fire was there, but he wasn't really on
then
fire.
Then it goes to an outside shot, doesn't it, from there? Doesn't it, from where they're running out?
Yeah, well, it shows them in the back of the truck, and then it does the same thing it does at the end of Halloween, where it shows shots of the house and different locations, and then it shows where he was standing before, and he's gone.
Mm-hmm. So, he must have found the secret passageway, I guess.
That's what I think. And then I think Billy shows up and helps him.
Did you see the teaser trailer they released?
I did, and there's like a shot of him standing with an axe.
Him standing on the front porch,
Right, with like a burning lattice and stuff like. That's the thing, though. That porch doesn't look the same as the porch from the house, of Lori's house. I think that's something else.
It's probably the back door.
That's true. That's where the secret passage comes out onto the back porch.
The secret passageway left at the back door, I'm assuming. But it's cool that they bring. It's so cool that they, he's able to get all these people, that were attached to the original one.
Right.
That's awesome.
But you know who I feel really bad for? Because it's like I'd be like really pissed. I feel bad for the original kid who played Tommy Doyle. Like, you know what I mean? Like they get everyone else back, but then they get we're gonna get Anthony Michael Hall. Fuck the original one.
Right.
But they bring back.
I like Anthony Michael Hall. I was excited when they said that he was gonna be Tommy Doyle. But you're right.
Maybe they did contact him. He didn't want to do it.
I don't think that was the case.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't think they contacted him. What's his name? Brian Andrews, I think.
Yeah.
But
he looks a lot different.
Maybe they didn't want him. I don't know. Maybe they didn't.
I'll say this:
maybe he doesn't have the acting chops that they need.
He might not, because I know that the my gosh,
that's true.
Her name escapes me. All the names are escaping me tonight. But the little girl that Annie was babysitting, took her over to Laura.
Right. Oh.
Lindsay, yeah.
Lindsay Wall.
Yeah, the girl that plays Lindsay is coming back to play the same character. She went on to continue doing acting.
That may be why. Maybe he went out.
And I know that, yeah,
they want
I don't
somebody
think he went
a
on to
solid
do.
actor.
Yeah, I really don't think he went on to do anything, if
Maybe he
anything
did,
at all.
Yeah.
And I saw an interview with him recently, and he, he looks about like me.
He looks like a fat Adam Sandler.
Yeah, he does.
Oh,
Shut your face, Eric.
So I guess.
But oh man, he is on a roll tonight with those sound effects.
I love the sound effects.
Oh, thank you, Troy. I kind of like him too.
Mm-hmm.
I know. So yeah. So.
But a little trivia on Halloween. I don't know if you know that John Carpenter went to Western Kentucky University, about an hour from here in Bowling Green, and some of the towns that are named in the original Halloween are towns around Bowling Green.
Warren County.
Oh, really?
Warren County, Smiths Grove.
Smiths Grove
is all around. Yeah, that's an hour from here. I went to Western.
Anytime you take a trip through Kentucky, like in our area, I always see Smiths Grove.
Yeah.
On this, like,
and that's actually where that came from, because he did go to Western Kentucky and Bowling Green.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, just throw that out there.
And we have dinner with him on the weekends.
Yeah.
So,
that
helps out.
Yeah. When you're in town, maybe we can work out a meeting dinner. Who knows? Yeah,
yes.
Sure.
Well, let's change gears just a little bit, because I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit just to get your thoughts. Now, obviously, and I asked Ryan. We had Ryan
Ziegler.
Is it Ziegler or is it Ziegler?
Ziegler. I think it's Ziegler, not Ziegler. Ziegler.
I never said Ziegler.
You just did. You did.
I said it.
You did that night.
I was gonna say I just.
Anyway, Ryan.
So Ryan was in the studio, and he, obviously he had he's one of the actors in the film. He read the wraparound script, and I kind of put him on the spot and asked him a similar question, but without giving away any details. Obviously, you signed on to the project. You're set to direct A Party to Die For, which is one of the sequences in the new film. So having read the script, once again, without giving any details as far as on Devil's Night, or any spoilers,
yeah,
I mean, what are your overall thoughts? Yeah, you could give some details, just not spoilers.
So what
are your thoughts as far as like the new film that people have yet to see?
Well, having just read the one segment, I definitely am super excited about it. I've seen both volumes of Blood. I actually own both of them on Blu-ray. The first one.
Oh, well, thank you.
Good answer.
I did.
I'm joking. Thank you.
They're awesome, and I cannot. But you know what? And here's the thing: it's like, and it's just like what I was saying earlier about like how you always like with me or with. How I just feel like anybody that's making films or doing anything, you should always want to improve and up your game and make your films, much better, much more elaborate than the previous films, which which was my goal with like Stirring had to be better than Party Night, Teacher Shortage has to be better than Stirring, blah, blah, blah. I can tell just by the one segment that I signed on for that you sent me, Party to Die For, that it's definitely, this third film is definitely much larger, much more elaborate than any of the segments in the first two. Much so, even I think even to the point where I was thinking when I was reading some of it, I'm like, geez, this is going to be kind of definitely interesting to try to pull off. But it's a cool story. I think people are really going to get a kick out of it. Speaking of, we're just talking about Halloween. I've always wanted to do a Halloween kind of themed film. So the fact that this one takes place on Halloween and has a lot of the Halloween elements is really cool. I like the story a lot. There's a lot of black comedy definitely injected throughout the segment, but I also feel like there's a lot of horror. The ending actually is, I'm not giving anything away, but I was a little surprised by the ending. It wasn't really what I expected to happen, because it's generally not what happens in these types of films. So I was pleasantly surprised with that.
Awesome.
And I feel like the actors, the characters are very colorful and lively. So I feel like the actors that are attached to it are going to have a lot of fun with it, especially the couple.
So do you think we did a good
Peter
job?
Peter and Linda.
Right, yeah,
Peter and Linda. am I
Peter
thinking
and
they're-
Linda.
Yeah, I
So
think that their dynamic together is a lot of fun.
Do you see
they're
David?
realistic.
Do you see David in that role?
Oh, I see David in any role.
I was gonna say, what's he
Putting
supposed
you on
to say?
Putting you on the
No?
spot there.
Is he supposed to say no? I don't see him at all. But
Well,
you've already
and
cast
what-
him, so
I wasn't really trying to put him on the spot, but he's worked with him and he knows the character. He's read the script, so that's why. you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the character that David plays in Teacher Shortage is a lot of fun too. He's kind of an older, curmudgeoned, English teacher that's just like fed up with the job, and so he had a lot of fun with that, and just seeing him get into character and seeing what he can do and how he can create. I was just amazed, like his ability to just get the character and create the character and bring the character to life and give the character quirks that I wouldn't even have thought of, but just something that makes the character unique and stand out. It was really cool to see. So yeah, no, I definitely see him really having a lot of fun with that role. So no, I'm super excited. We kind of talked a little bit about it on the set of Teacher Shortage. So
Oh, cool.
awesome. You were like,
so-
you're like, I'm attached to this piece of shit that's never going to get made.
Yeah. So PJ's left the studio. What did y'all say anything about PJ?
no,
I know I'm
Well-
still here, but you can go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, I thought
you can
you
go
were-
ahead and tell them what you think about me while you're here. No, actually, I had when I wrote the script for A Party to Die For, I actually had. We're talking about David McMahon for those
Yes.
McMahon.
listeners, who may not know
Who is
which
in,
David we're
in,
talking
in
about.
his movie Teacher Shortage and going to be in?
Correct.
That was
hmm
And so when I wrote the script for that, I actually wrote that role with him in mind. And funny enough, he almost got cast in another role because when he auditioned, we made him audition for a couple different roles just to kind of see like how those would play out. And one of the roles, one of the
Festivities?
auditions, no, it was Have You Checked the Children.
Oh.
He read for one of the, he
Oh.
read for another role in another sequence called Have You Checked the Children.
That's right.
And his audition was so good.
Yeah.
We almost were like, "Oh, how could we not put him in that role?" So, but he ended up coming home, and now he's going to be in A Party to Die For.
Yeah.
But yeah,
mean-
he's such a good character actor that
Yeah.
I mean he's made for that role, which I
No, I
wrote
feel like
wrote in
he's-
mind for him. So
Yeah, he's definitely the type of actor that I think can do anything. Even with like Teacher Shortage in the script, the character, which Curtis is his name, in the script the character is much older, which we were.
Oh, did we lose you,
hello,
Troy?
hold on,
We're-
we're having a mild technical difficulty.
So while we're having
what
technical,
the age
oh,
diversity-
there he is.
Yep.
We lost you.
Yeah.
for a
We,
minute.
yeah, we lost.
So-
We were going through a dead spot,
Yeah.
but now we're back up on the hill.
You started talking about the other gentleman, and we completely lost you. So
Oh,
But now you're
sorry.
back.
Can you hear me now?
yes, we
Yeah.
can hear you fine now. We don't know what happened.
Oh, you probably cut me off. Shut up.
Yeah, we were tired of your answer.
But probably. No, but I was just saying, like in the Teacher Shortage script, his character is much older, and so I was kind of concerned about that. But he dyed his hair and pulled it off, so
Awesome.
I think he can do just
Good
about
deal.
anything.
Well, I hear rave things about him in 1031 Part 2 that just recently. It's
Streaming.
yeah, just they had their premiere.
It's already on Prime, isn't it? It's already on Prime. Or
Yeah,
Hulu?
it's on Amazon Prime. You
Right.
can rent it there. I haven't watched it
check
yet,
You're welcome, Rocky Gray.
and I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard really good things, and I've heard really good things about the sequence he's in, which was made by Drew Marvick. So,
Oh, Drew, yeah, Pool Party Massacre, Drew. Yep.
Yeah.
yeah, we got a chance to kind of hang out with him a little bit during Horror Hound
In Indianapolis.
in Indianapolis, and it's funny because I expected him to be so much goofier and weirder, and he's not. He's like
No.
completely this normal guy,
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
with a giant, big, bushy beard.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I met him. I met him at Texas Primary Weekend, and I was kind of expecting the same thing. But he's a very he's just kind of normal dude.
Just like, hey, what's
I
up?
think what he does very well is marketing.
Yeah.
He's very good at marketing himself. So, and his film, I mean, good Lord, Pool Party Massacre too. Made it.
Oh, I
he did
know.
it.
Yeah,
So,
they killed that. It was funny too because when we were at Horror Hound, he ran into some guy that was wearing a Pool Party Massacre T-shirt. Had no idea who the guy was. The guy literally just wore it. Didn't know that Drew was going to be there. We didn't know Drew was going to be there until the day of.
Right.
And
that's cool.
Yeah, he just happened to run because I saw this guy walking around, and I thought maybe he just knew Drew and knew he was going to be there, but no, he was a complete stranger. So that was pretty cool. We haven't had that happen with us. So Congratulations, Drew. Good job.
Hey, we've had people.
No yelling on the bus.
We've had people walk up with our shirts on before.
We have. Mm-hmm. And one person wearing our brand of underwear.
I wasn't there. I wasn't there for that one.
Volumes of Brown.
Yeah, whatever.
Volumes.
Here we go. And it takes a turn. And PJ did it.
Yeah. So anyway,
So going back to, I know this is going to be kind of out there question, but you talked about being a fan of Black Christmas being your favorite, and then you talked about Halloween. Curiosity, do you have a Halloween tattoo? Because you said you had a Black Christmas tattoo.
No, I only have one tattoo right now. It's the Black Christmas tattoo.
And then you picked that over Halloween. How come? Well, I mean, reason I asked that because you talked that was...
He realized how painful tattoos were. He had plans to get a Halloween when he was like, I'm not putting myself through that again.
Well, he talked about Halloween. Go ahead.
Halloween... No, I meant... Okay, so Black Christmas is my favorite standalone horror film of all time.
Right.
Halloween is my favorite franchise.
Okay.
So I wouldn't call Black Christmas a franchise, really. I mean, there was never a sequel. So, no, it's just...
There should have been.
my favorite film.
Right.
There should have been. I know. When I was a kid, I kind of wrote one. It was like I was like in fourth grade, so it was like a 3-page sequel. I'm like, oh look, it's the Black Christmas sequel.
Well, the ghost of Bob Clark is here, and he says, "Do it."
Well, you got to realize I'm older. So Halloween came out when I was like 11. So
11 years after he turned 40.
And the age jokes start. Here we go. Let me get my walker out of the way so I can get closer to people.
Yeah, I tripped on his cane coming into the studio tonight.
But I was just curious because you said you were a Halloween fan and you said you had that, so I was just curious.
I am.
Because I'm still contemplating getting a tattoo, so that's Halloween's one of them that's there. That's why I was asking. So.
Well, it was one of these things where I was the type of person that always said I would never have a tattoo, ever. I was like, that's stupid. There's nothing that I like that I want on my body for the rest of my life. So I was one of those people. And one of my friends who actually produced my first film, Party Night, with me, she's big into tattoos. She had how many tattoos she had. She was always trying to talk me into one. And when my birthday came around a couple of years ago, she's like, I'm going to get you a tattoo for your birthday. You better think of what you want. I'm like, oh, gosh. So...
Now, what if you had said, no, I'm not getting a tattoo? What would she have given you for your birthday?
I don't know. I should have said no.
She'd have given you a gift card to the tattoo parlor.
Yeah, probably.
So, no, I went along with it. I'm like, okay, I'll just get it on my calf so nobody will really see it. Nobody at work is going to see. So, it's basically what it is. It's the scene in Black Christmas. It's the eyeball looking through the door.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, that's one of the creepiest parts of the whole movie.
Oh, it is. It is. It's one of my favorite shots of any film, period.
Well, I'm older and I haven't got one, and it's kind of a.
I like how you keep throwing out there that you're older.
Well, because I've went this long and never got one. That's my point of saying I'm older.
Right. Your skin may be too leathered to take to the
it might be. Might be too flabby already. It'll spread out.
It might.
You know when people get tattoos when they're young, and then by the time they're like 60 or 70, it just looks like a black smudge.
You ever heard the comedian talking about?
That's what Eric's going to get a fresh, brand new tattoo, and it's just going to look like a black smudge automatically.
He's talking about the one comedian talking about the girl getting the cute little dove right here just by her belt line when she's like 17 years old, and then by the time she's 50 and gone through 4 kids, it's like a pterodactyl. And I'm like, yeah, you're not going to piss any women off saying that joke. But anyway.
I saw a guy at a convention that we were at, and he was probably in his, I'd say, mid to late 60s, and he had tattoos all over his arms, and it just looked like chicken scratch, and you couldn't tell.
Well,
what,
he
like,
might have done it.
any of the
He might have done
tattoos
it
were.
himself. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not big on pain, so I'll never get a tattoo. I don't have anything against tattoos, but I couldn't commit to something because I know that if I committed to it now, even if I really like it, you know,
I can see your problem is,
Well, plus-
you would pick something and go, oh man, why didn't I pick this?
Yeah.
And you'd have to go back and get that.
yeah,
That's what you would do.
because plus I'm fat, and if I get a tattoo now and then lose weight, it'll look
Like a dot.
Yeah, it'll be like Michael Myers.
It'll look like a dot.
and then it'll
Time
like
to
it'll
shrink.
shrink up, and it'll look like a shriveled, emaciated Michael Myers with stretch marks on it,
Yeah.
on skinny
Well,
skin.
I don't have
now.
any tattoos. David, PJ doesn't have any tattoos, but our boot guy, David, he's got a tramp stamp.
He does.
Yeah.
A tramp stamp.
No, I don't. I have
What's her name?
I have Eric Cartman on my arm. Thank you very much.
Do you really? Do you have it? Do
You got a tattoo?
Yes,
I didn't know
do.
that. Oh.
It
Got it.
washes off
I
after
was
6
meant-
days.
When back in my radio days, I got a tattoo live on the air at a live remote.
I do not remember
Wow.
that.
Yep.
I will bow to you after we get off here. I'm sorry.
It's supposed to be Eric
that's
Cartman, but
funny.
it looks more like Kenny.
You've been quiet. So
Oh,
I
that's
wanted
the
to
don't
include you.
respect my, or that's the respect my authority.
Yeah,
Yep.
Eric Cartman. Yeah.
He just showed it to us. Weird though, it's supposed to be on his arm, but he pulled down his pants.
Oh no.
That's why he's breathing so heavy now. He has to put his belt back. I'm gonna be honest, that just scared the shit out of me. I forgot that you had that sound effect.
It's time for the purge.
I know. So
Oh.
Speaking
now,
of
see, that's
speaking of David pulling his pants down.
so. Anyway,
Sounds.
yeah. So we've been going for a little over an hour
Yeah.
now. So usually we only
Yeah.
go for about an hour. So just I guess we're gonna start kind of bringing this to an end and closing things down. But is there anything out there that you want the folks to know? Any what do you have anything?
Anybody have any questions for Troy before
That's
we get
true.
off here?
Yeah.
Hey,
and-
guess who's just now? I just saw. his
hey,
name
what's
pop
up, Tori?
anybody-
And David
Does anybody
McMahon.
even watch?
David
Does anybody
McMahon.
even watch?
Well, we've
Has
had a few
anybody-
people.
oh, yes.
We've had a bunch.
Yeah, we've
There's
had a bunch
out
of people
there.
come in
But, some
and then
guy named-
immediately leave, but they left a middle finger emoji before
Some
they did.
guy named David
Luckily-
McMahon's watching.
Plus, this will
Luckily,
also
David
be
came in.
on YouTube for you
After
afterwards.
David McMahon says, "What did I miss?
Well,
A lot,
yes.
and you missed us
He missed
talking
our-
about you."
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we talked about you for like an hour.
Yeah. And we said a lot of horrible things, so you'll have to go back and
Don't-
see what they
don't.
were.
Don't rewind it.
Yeah. Something about you have a tramp stamp. I don't know. I don't know what it is me with tramp stamps today, but
So,
Yeah.
David, I had a conversation with David, and he was really happy that he didn't have to take his clothes off in Volumes of Blood 3.
oh, you took that out,
Oh,
Yeah, we can add it back
you
in.
can't bet.
David.
You can't
Please,
beg him to take
please
his clothes off
repeat
the
it
super
all.
show.
David says, "Please repeat it all." We would. Well,
Let
that
me
would,
put
that
yours
would, yeah, we'll have to
YouTube
go
channel.
back. That's like that's 10 minutes of praise that we gave David.
I'll just summarize. It was all good.
Yeah, it was all good, David.
Perfect.
We talked about good things. We said you're a great character actor, and Troy is getting a tattoo of you on his thigh.
Well, I got a question. I got a question for you, real quick, Troy. With your 3 features you've got out, teacher, or the third one's getting ready to be out. You're in post production. Do you have a 4th one you already have in your mind, or you
That was
going to
be literally my next
you
question.
got on
yeah.
paper, or you're putting it on paper, or
Anything you can talk about
Right.
that's coming up that you plan on doing.
Sure.
There's some excitement behind
Yeah.
that. Sure.
Sure. Well, it's because I have been totally like, I don't know, I've been in this mood lately where I'm just like I'm unmotivated to do anything except like just like eat. So I do. I have a script. It's very much I very much plan on it being my next film. I'm about 60 pages in. I know where it's going to go. I just need to finish writing. And then I also started, because I was like, so I got kind of writer's block. So like 2 weeks ago, I started the script for Stirring 2. I had an
Okay.
idea that I think could work. That would be kind of, a really kind of cool idea for a sequel. So I started it, but that's like on the back burner. I really want to do the one I'm working on right now. Like I said, it's about I'm almost done with it. I just need to spend a couple days and finish it. I know how it's going to end. I know what I need to do. But so I do have a couple things in mind. So I guess stay tuned.
So I'm curious. The original title was Stirring, and then when it got picked up for distribution, they changed it to Miss Claus. So, doing a sequel, are you gonna call? Are you gonna call it? Are you gonna have to try to go with Miss Claus? Or are you gonna try to stick with Stirring too? Especially if it's like a direct sequel. What are your thoughts there?
Well, that's the thing is they with changing the title. Not that when they sent me the little email that said, "Hey, we're changing the title," and I'm like, "Okay, so what are you going to change to?" They sent me the cover art and everything. I'm like, "What the heck?" I was not happy because I just didn't feel like it captured the film at all.
Right.
So
well, plus you're in love with the title at that point because that's what it's been up to that.
Yeah, even though a lot of people didn't get the title, I'm like, how do you not get the title? They didn't understand what the title meant, and I'm like, okay, so apparently you've never heard of 12 Days, the Night Before Christmas, okay? Because that's where the title came from. I'm a big fan of like one-word titles if they can be effective. So I was kind of going through like Christmas carols literally when I was trying to come up with a title for it, and just looking for lines and words, and I just came across it. I'm like, that is perfect. So yeah, I really liked the title, and yeah, when they changed it, I was a little upset. But you know what? Whatever, it happens. At least they got it out there. It's in stores. It was in it was in Family Video when I went back to Iowa for Christmas last year. It was so exciting to see it on the shelf in Family Video. But no, okay. To answer your question, I'm sorry. I took a long detour.
Oh, you're fine.
The distributor told me that I would have to get their permission to call it Mrs. Claus 2, because they own that title and the associated artwork and stuff like that with it. So I could call it Stirring 2, or someone, my cinematographer editor, had a bright idea just to call it Stirring again because Stirring wasn't used.
That's true.
So
would you have to go through a different distributor then, or how would that work?
Well, I mean, technically, I'm assuming if you were to have Wild Eye pick it up again, they would probably automatically change it to Miss Claus too.
Right.
Yeah. But it's kind of a cool idea what I came up with. It would require a couple of actors from the first one returning. So again, if I was going to do it, it needed to be done. I would need to do it here in the next couple of years before they get too old not to look like college students anymore. I guess that doesn't matter. No, and it's kind of a cool idea. So I really think it would be awesome. But yeah, the whole title conundrum is going to be interesting when the time comes, as far as what to call it and how to market it and all that stuff to get people interested in you call it. Because generally, the people that know the film is Stirring are the ones that like back the crowdfunding campaign and kind of follow me. But any Joe Schmo on the street that might have come across it on Amazon Prime knows it isn't Claus. So that's going to be interesting. So yeah.
Well, I mean, if you were to crowdfund for it, I mean, do you have to get their permission to say the sequel to Miss Claus, or did they say that specifically?
No, I probably wouldn't tell them. I don't.
Don't. Well, we're not going to tell them for a fee.
No, actually, it's Robert Wild. He's the guy that owns it. He's super cool. So I don't think he has any issue with anything. In fact, when I had contacted him a while ago about doing a sequel, he had said, well, they would be interested in producing the sequel if Mrs. Claus, did well. So as far as sales-wise, which I'm still waiting to hear how it's done sales-wise, but yeah, so that was kind of interesting. But I don't think he'd really have an issue with calling it, sequel to Mrs. Claus. So.
Well, looking forward to having you in town. Hopefully, sometime in the near future to work with you and see your talents.
The way I look at this, and it's funny because Trina's my wife. She was like,
You mean Tina?
Yeah. Katina.
Katina.
Cantina is what I call her because she likes to drink a lot.
Cantina.
But I mean, who wouldn't? If you were married to me, you'd probably drink a lot too. But
I'd be dead.
we can arrange that.
Okay.
But getting back to what I was saying, Trina actually told me tonight. She was like, maybe no one's interested in Volumes of Blood 3. Maybe it's time to just put it on the shelf and move on. And I said, no. Because I don't care if no one else wants to see it. I want to make the movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
There's people out there that want to see the movie.
Right.
There's-
Somebody
there's
wants
people
to.
that wanna see
There's
Right.
at least
Yeah, no.
3 people right now in this conversation that want to see the movie. David is over there going,
Well-
do something else. But.
Yeah.
No, I think
Didn't say a
I mean,
word.
I think you should definitely do it. And,
I agree.
I think there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people interested. Your last crowdfunding campaign did well. So,
Well, I mean, speaking of that, I mean, we've got a couple other things coming up that we're going to do to raise funds for this. We're not just sitting waiting. on
Right.
people
We are
to
going to
hand
do.
us
We
money.
have decided to do a follow-up crowdfunder,
Right.
but that'll come a little bit later.
And we are going to, hopefully, if it pans out, we are going to do not like a silent auction. What I'm trying to say, a live auction for some items that have been used in the
There's
first
a
two
whole-
films.
Just an auction.
Yeah, it's just an
okay.
auction. We got
Okay.
there's a whole bunch of shit at my house and a whole bunch at Eric's
Oh,
house.
yeah,
that
cool.
like
Yeah.
props and
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff that's just sitting around not doing stuff that we'll never use ever
Right.
again.
Exactly.
But they're
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
collector's items, so we don't want to just throw
Yeah.
them away.
So I mean,
Yeah, no, I understand.
we're going to starting next Tuesday. We're going to start going
Yep.
through all that and getting the items, and may come in here in a couple of weeks with a few of them as teasers to show people what we may be doing, and then if we get enough people interested, then we'll
Yeah.
get on here and do an auction with them.
Yeah. It's just this one's taking longer. We got spoiled with the last two,
Exactly.
they happened very
Mhm.
quickly. This one's taking a little bit longer to get funded, but
Well,
that
but
only
like
means it's going to be more worth to make.
Mhm.
yeah,
That came out-
and
I
like
don't
I
think that
said,
came out right. But you know what
no,
I'm trying
but
to
like
say.
but like I said, even from the segment that I read, you can definitely tell that it's a much more elaborate film. It's going to require definitely more resources, more more money to make. So I think it's
Absolutely.
Just like you said earlier,
It's
you
worth-
got to go bigger and better.
Yeah, no, you don't. You have to. Like I said, I would. That's my goal when I make, my films is I want to improve. I want each of my films to be better than the one before it. Otherwise, I don't want to say what's the point, but for me, it's,
Right.
I need to go. I want people to see my films and be like, okay, yeah, this guy's improving. Like each of the films are getting much better. So we're, whatever. I just don't see. I mean, I see a lot of people, indie horror directors, that just throw out these films. And they just, I don't think they're more interested in what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know. I stopped listening to what you were saying.
I know you probably did, but
I'm joking. Words have
more
escaped
interested
me all night, so don't feel bad.
they're more. I can't think of the word, but I can say it this way: they're more interested in the number of films that get out than the quality.
Right, right, and that's
So,
and
Quantity instead of quality.
there you go. That was the word. I'm an English teacher. I can
yeah,
say
there's and that's really we want the next one to look more cinematic and in as many ways as possible. I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's still an independent film, but that doesn't mean it has to look like crap.
Well,
and
There's no reason
exactly, and that's and that's exactly. I mean, that's like with teacher shortage. I'm so excited to get people, people that have seen the first two films to see this one because it is. I mean, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but I think it is going to be much better. It's a much more elaborate film. There's way more, there's way more set locations than I've ever had before, which was a giant pain in the ass, but which makes it look better. We did a lot of cool stuff with like lighting. The kills are very, very over the top, gruesome. I work with a different special effects artist this time, so and she really did some great effects. So
that's awesome. Well, I've seen the screen grabs from it, and it looks really it looks great. So I'm excited to see it.
Well, there was no reason for
Well,
us to
thank you.
step up for the second one and then not step up for the third one. So I
Right.
mean, that's just
Well,
you
here's
know.
what I do know: we have to get through Volumes of Blood 3 and Stirring 2, so we can make the Face versus,
Claus.
evil Miss Claus. Yeah. So we have to do that, and then eventually we'll do a mega crossover where it's like
The Face against
the
the old
Face
English teacher
versus
that David McMahon
yeah,
plays.
and Bone Jangles.
Yeah.
And
Oh, there
the
you go.
Wicked
Throw 'em all
one,
in
and
there.
just
The
we should
Wicked
all
one,
Drew
Pool-
could come
Pool
in,
Party
Pool Party
Massacre,
Massacre,
yeah.
his character from that. We'll just get them all together, and
We'll just all
I
have
will
them-
say
have
this.
all of them come around the pool. All of the villains come around the pool and just sit there and let the music build, and they all just sit
Right.
there.
I'm
and
not
then
going
it's
to
just a
say
massacre.
I'm not going to say what the idea is, but I actually have an idea that brings together all the really well-known like indie horror directors and their villain, and it's
Ooh.
technically a documentary, but there's the twist to it. And I'm not going to say what it is, but I've told Eric what it is, and I think he thought it was all right. But anyway, I think it would be something really cool for So it's like it would involve everybody kind of working together and being willing to allow their characters to be used all in a single film. And I'm talking like Justin's characters from The Barn and Rocky's
The Barn,
characters
yeah.
from 1031, and just so it's kind of all of us coming together and the characters we've created coming together. But yeah, that's I
That
actually
would be
haven't. Yeah, I think it would be cool to do, but
Well, there may or may not be a kind of a
Tori
teachers-
Jones just said, "Jesus, PJ has been booking the Face against all these slashers." So yeah, so it's kind of, but that's actually not what it is. The idea I was talking about a second ago is not about these characters against each other. It's this
cool.
whole other thing. So anyway, I think it would be neat to do, but by then we'll all
Yeah,
be
you
so egocentric that it won't come.
You gotta
together.
love like unique, like the masked, slasher villains that are kind of cool. It's kind of cool
Right.
to see them all emerge from these different indie horror franchises. So hopefully the killer and teacher shortage gets people excited because it's kind of a really cool costume, cool get up. Cool
Now I don't think
disguise.
I've seen any pictures of that killer.
You have not, and that's on purpose.
Okay,
So,
that's what I was wondering.
I don't want
All
people-
right.
I don't want to spoil the mask and the get up until the people see the film because it really is cool, super
Awesome.
cool. Like that's. And I'm not just like even all the actors were like, okay, yeah, this is really cool mask, really cool get up. So I almost about gave away the killer. Oh my god, I was going to say the actor that played the. But okay.
All right. Well, Troy, thank you
Yeah.
so much for coming on tonight, and I'm glad that we were actually able to make it work this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Even
Anytime.
though
was
it
a lot
didn't
of
in the beginning, we got it working.
Right.
But that was my fault. I'll take the blame.
Yeah, it was all Eric.
Yeah.
David's like, "Hey, turn the volume down on your phone," and he mutes his phone.
Well, I was.
Oh.
Never mind. Not getting started.
Oh, it's okay.
But yeah,
Well, no, let's for sure. Let's do it again.
Absolutely.
All right, sounds good.
Cool.
Yeah.
We'll have a different topic this time. So
Yeah, next time we'll
Yeah.
we'll figure out. I don't know what that's going to be, but we'll figure it out. But anyway, so everybody who is watching the live feed tonight, thank you so much for taking the time, and
Thank you. Yeah.
the two people that stuck with us this whole
Yeah.
time.
and I guess we'll let him go, and then we'll close out.
Yeah,
And
well,
then-
I think we're pretty much.
well, I wanted to.
Oh, you want to do a little
Yeah,
outro
little outro
thing? All right, well,
Yeah.
take it away, Eric.
Okay. Just wanted to tell everybody thanks for watching, and remember we're still trying to get money to get Volumes of Blood 3, which is called Devil's Night, and we have shirts that you can purchase. You can get hold of us at bloodmoonpics@gmail.com. You can contact us personally on our Facebook pages. I think all the information will be up on the YouTube page, won't it, David? So
Yeah,
all that'll
it's
be there.
all up here.
Yeah, it's right here. And we want to hopefully we'll be back here in 2 weeks to have another live thing to talk about. I want to thank David again for letting us be in Outbreak Studios and putting up with us
Yes.
tonight. He's over there yawning like, get out of here. So, but Troy, thank you again for coming in, man.
Yeah.
It was enjoyable.
Thank you.
Don't hang up on the phone before we close out.
Yeah, so, but anyway, I just wanted to get that out there, and
Yeah.
I guess we're done.
I don't have
we
anything
can
else,
Say goodbye.
Thank you all so much.
Yeah, thank you all very much. Have a good night.